One day I saw an ad in the paper for reserve firefighters wanted for the city of Chippewa Falls. So I stopped on the station and applied and ultimately was hired as a reserve firefighter.
I started out right out of high school on a local volunteer department. My father had been a firefighter and always kind of looked up to him.
Shortly out of high school, I decided I wanted to get in the fire service, so I started with a different city as a volunteer firefighter in EMT.
Chippewa Falls Emergency Center. I have one way out of my apartment and the fire is coming through the door now.
Attention, attention. Respond to 220 Badger Street for a fire in a residence. I was just letting know.
We all got out of bed, got dressed, and within 3 minutes we were on the scene of the fire. I remember rolling up to the scene and at least 50% of the house was already gone. First person I was met by was a police officer who told me that the young man was trapped upstairs in the rear and that there was a window there that we could attempt the rescue through. When I came around the side of the home, I saw the parents of Matt standing there below the window. They were pointing the window telling us where Matt was located. At that point, being the battalion chief, I had to make some decisions on what our tactics were going to be. And I assigned 2 firefighters, which is Thom and Joe Przybylski, to enter the upstairs window and start a search and potential rescue.
Can't see you right now.
And I climbed the ladder, entered the upstairs bedroom, hollered for him, had gotten no response, so we knew time was wasting, we had to do something.
I laddered shortly after behind Jason Thoms into the bedroom window, about halfway into the fire. I heard Jason holler that he found the patient. I proceeded to follow my way through the room to find where my partner was at.
I assigned other firefighters other tasks, and once that was accomplished, I climbed the ladder myself and leaned into the window and just to monitor the conditions inside. It was very smoky in there, very hot. One of the things I was concerned with was the safety of my own firefighters.
Found him, got him to the window. Joe and I attempted to get him up onto the counter and out the window.
The flames were coming through the door that came from the garage, and the heat was getting more intense. After several attempts, we were able to get his arm to the window where he could hold him, and then we assisted him up to the window. About this time was when our air alarms went off, which means we have approximately 5 minutes left.
So as Jason and Joel struggled to lift Matt over the counter, over the sink, and to the window, I was on the outside reaching in for him. The first thing I saw was the top of his head, and I managed to get a hold of his hair. Eventually I was able to grab his shoulder and pull and get him close to the window.
As he started to go out the window, the fresh air began to fight, struggle. He was kicking, he was pushing on, holding the window.
Ultimately, I was able to break Matt's grasp on the ladder and on the window casing and pull him out onto the ladder. I didn't have time to do any type of maneuvering to get him in an easier position to carry, so I just put his head under my left arm and grabbed him and started taking him down the window, down the ladder upside down.
At that point, Joe went out the window. It was very hot. It was very warm in the room. I went out and got down to the bottom of the ladder. By the time I got to the bottom of the ladder and took my face mask off,
the flames came out the window just like a furnace. You know, it pretty much was a fully involved room at that time.
But the rescued man suffered no burns and has fully recovered from the incident.
So at this point, we were totally exhausted, but we took about a minute, and then we changed air bottles, and then we had to help actually put the fire out.
We still had a fire to fight, so our job wasn't over after the rescue. And to have to, again, regroup and perform at a high level after being involved in something that was very exhausting, the guys did a real good job on that also. We're very fortunate that things worked out the way they did. Well, it's something we didn't expect. We were also honored by being inducted into Wisconsin Police and Firefighters Hall of Fame last month. And we utilize the Red Cross on almost every structure fire in the city where someone has either lost their possessions or need a place to live. And we've got a very good relationship with the Red Cross, and they're a great resource for us to have in our area.